name is Tony Diebenbrock, co-founder of ParallelX. This is my co-founder, Charles Moyes. Hi. So, a quick story. 2.5 years ago, my co-founder and I sought to create a directory system for the various organizations at both of our schools. We created this algorithm that predicted other members in given organizations based on the Facebook friend groups. However, this algorithm took roughly an hour to run, parallelized across 6 CPUs. Being the 2 college students we were, what we really needed was supercompute capabilities on a college budget. The answer? The GPU. By porting our algorithm to the GPU, we got this runtime down to 0.2 seconds. Now fast forward 2.5 years later, we're here today to announce ParallelX Rev, the first product bridging the gap between the enterprise world of big data and GPU-accelerated machine learning. Without further ado, let's see the product. So, example. Say we're Spotify. We want to implement a recommendation algorithm determining or categorizing songs genres, right? So, there's a number of ways of doing this. And let's say the data size, roughly 10,000 songs, 50 gigabytes of data, stored on AWS in HDFS. So to accomplish this goal, Chuck, would you mind implementing a k-means clustering algorithm using ParallelX Rev?
Sure.
Now that was simple. One line of code. ParallelX provides out-of-the-box machine learning algorithms that offload the data to the GPU to be crunched. So what we're going to do here is analyze the runtimes between a GPU implementation using Rev and a typical 5-node Apache Hadoop Mahout cluster. So here we see the GPU just shredding through this, versus the CPU, not so much. Now that was fast. Here are the results, where each cluster is a given genre, and the associated nodes are the songs of that genre. So this is just really one application of many machine learning algorithms. We're just getting started. We are the first product to bridge the gap between the enterprise world of big data and GPU-accelerated machine learning. To reiterate, what just happened there? The data was loaded off HDFS onto the GPU, and the GPU ran the algorithm seamlessly. All occurred on AWS. So, what does this mean? What does this product mean for you or your company? It means 2 things. First, machine learning just got that much faster. Without coding a single line of CUDA or OpenCL, you can now execute your algorithms on the GPU. Second, it means you can predict, analyze, and gain better insights into your data, regardless of what scale you're at, whether it be gigabytes, terabytes, or even petabytes. Thank you so much. We're excited to be here and launch ParallelX Rev. Thank you. Fight, guys.
I was hoping you could talk a little bit more about the use cases for the software in particular. Do you see that cloud is going to more likely be an on-ramp in terms of the availability of these resources versus sort of existing Hadoop clusters that might have to be retrofitted in some way?
So is your question, will this analysis generally be performed in the cloud?
Yeah, I mean, talk about the target market and
Sure.
the data going out.
Yeah, so we're targeting people using Hadoop on Amazon, lots of data stored in S3, HDFS, looking to make sense of it. Even EMR, Elastic MapReduce. There's a few ways of running machine learning algorithms on Amazon currently, but this is the most performant means of doing so.
And can you talk briefly a little bit about, obviously we saw the time benefit, how would you characterize the cost benefit?
Sure, so it might actually be that ParallelX is cheaper than running a typical Mahout cluster or whatever it might be, simply because the resources are more efficient. The GPU has 3,000 cores versus however many CPUs you're running. The GPU is primed for this.
Can you talk a little bit about your team? Who's on your team?
Sure.
How many people? What your backgrounds are?
Yeah. So Chuck and I, we've been working together for about 2.5 years. Our first venture was actually determining fraternities and sororities using Facebook friend graphs. And we used this GPU right here to do so. So we've been very interested in GPU technologies since then. Since founding this company, Chuck worked at Xbox and NVIDIA, and I worked at SAP Hybris.
And is it just the two of you, or you work with other?
It's just the two of us, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so the two of you have gotten pretty far. Do you have any customers trying it?
We're working with a few companies getting off the ground with POCs, and that's coming soon.
Can you clearly describe in 1 or 2 sentences what your unique intellectual property is? This is a deep IP company. I still don't understand yet what it is that makes you unique.
Sure. So it's the ability to run some typical algorithm on the GPU and efficiently managing the I/O issues in terms of getting the data from the computer to the GPU, right?
But there's some, what is your intellectual property? You described the business use case. Again, what is it that you're uniquely building that's allowing this form of acceleration on a GPU?
Sure.
So it's more like a layer by layer caching mechanism where we treat the GPU memory as an additional source of locality.
Okay.
And just the mechanism for streaming asynchronously the data set into the GPU while simultaneously computing on another working set of the GPU memory.
So you're optimizing the cache inside the GPU?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
So what suggestions do you have for them in terms of like how to get distribution?
I think you showed a Spotify memo. I'd probably show something more visual.
Sure.
If you're showing an analytical application,
Yeah.
Hadoop, or something that either drives revenue or reduces cost, or something that's going to get the business's attention.
That's a good point.
Yeah, one thing that, I was in your shoes 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And one thing that worked amazingly well for us is these initial customers where you work really closely with them, and then even quotes, sure, eventually you want to be able to visualize it.
Yeah.
But even quotes before that, I'm like, wow, before ParallelX came along, I used to do this, and now I'm doing this, and that sort of thing, where it gives you confidence you're working on the right thing, and then once you have confidence, you'll be able to go out and attract the team to help build it, because that's the next step. And you guys have to decide whether you want to do this full time.
Yeah.
And if you want it full time, no matter how smart you are, there's going to be other people you need to attract.
Agreed.
And so and I think to be able to attract more people, you need to get people using it with some initial feedback of yes, we're onto something big. This is a problem, we're onto something big.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Thank